likely their... Gosh, I don't even know what this Kunkka is. If that's going to be a mid Kunkka, a mid Batrider, off-lane Batrider, support Kunkka. Lots of versatility here. Not quite sure what Avalon are really comfortable with. For some reason, Avalon's team, they were all tagged up correctly in the lobby, but that is not transferring here, so we'll just call them by their hero names. As 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not exactly the easiest things to shout in team fights. Again, taking a lot of time here with their last pick. Tinker may have been what they were looking for that mid laner, so maybe that support Kunkka going in, rotating with the Vengeful Spirit, Batrider taking up the off-lane position to get that lasso. The stats rolling on in, but we'll see what's going to happen here. As they're going to run out of reserve town eventually, have to pick up a hero at some point. What best supports the Terrorblade? Well, the Vengeful Spirit helping out the Kunkka, if that is going to be a position for the boat torrents, are going to be so crucial. Maxing out the X nice and early to get so much pull. Act as like a big old melee disruptor, if you will. Just always bringing heroes back into the fight. They can run, but they can't hide, and Storm Spirit, notoriously hard to get a hold of. The Batrider is going to be really crucial going in with those flame breaks, with those lassos, making sure they always burn down his mana, make sure they've got those holds in place for him. So, Avalon, in the game there was a bug where you couldn't select a hero, but looks like Invoker will be the last pick, so it's going to be support Kunkka, Batrider taking up the off lane, Invoker in the mid. Excited to see how that pans out with Terrorblade in the safe lane. Terrorblade, one of those heroes you really can't underestimate. Oh, there we go. Let's take you guys out of HUD jail. That's much better now, isn't it? So we're going to go ahead on into game number 1 of NewBee versus Avalon. I'm curious to see what's going to pan out here. NewBee and their Drow strats, definitely something they're proud of. They've practiced up, and with a Storm Spirit in the mid lane, that's going to be using that in a whole new way. I mean, Storm Spirit, not really the most potent right clicker in the game. When you think of him, you don't think, oh gosh, I really hope he doesn't have any precision aura, but I mean, Drow Ranger, she's going to help out. She's going to do whatever she needs to on her own right. She's picking up the recipe for the Wraith Band, so able to go and get those early stats. And we'll see if she's able to get some nice farm, or if Batrider completely contests her. Got SJL here with just Mod Podge of a set. Coming in. He's got like the cape that makes his tornado all pretty, but not sticking with the goth hair, looking to change it up. Kind of do his own thing. Be a unique little flower. Over here we are going to have that off-lane Slardar there with a stout shield. And it's going to be, hopefully him having a nice survivable time. He's going to be going up most likely against that Venge Terrorblade combo. Venge might spend a bit of time in the jungle. There may be a couple rotations in from the Kunkka, but in general, not the easiest lane. Going to have to be very cautious about when he initiates, because all it takes is one early Metamorphosis from the Terrorblade, one X Torrent combo landing, and all of a sudden that is a dead fish, courtesy of the Sailor.
The battle begins.
Alright, so just going to be going for a 1-1 rune split. Nothing too action-packed happening. No first blood, unlike last series, but looks like Moose starting things out right is going to be going and dragging that healing salve, so anticipating taking a lot of damage from the Invoker, as Invoker has leveled up that Sunstrike ready to go. If he goes for that Cold Snap build with that Urn, with a couple of points there, just making sure that he gets a decent amount of tick damage on the Storm, that could be something he's looking for. May just go straight for the Midas to try to take this as late game as possible with that Terrorblade. You need a little bit of time to come online, you can't fight right away. The lanes are going to work themselves out to be Drow Dazzle, definitely anticipated, and oh, Poison Touch Dazzle going for that aggro combination as the Precision Aura is leveled up, so Dazzle able to go very, very aggressive. Batrider already having to hop down to the low ground. A couple more hits may melt him down. Looks like for now he's going to be able to back off, may have to flap himself in a salve, but that is a really scary place to be as a Batrider. That level 1 damage coming at you, oh, that's terrifying. Meanwhile, up top you've got Chuan on the Elder Titan, walking back, taking a ton of damage. KP is going to be sitting here on the Slardar, looking for something, but again, the early Metamorphosis from the Terrorblade able to do so much work. Now mid lane, Moo in some trouble. The Sunstrike coming in, will it be enough? No. Moo going to be alive again, does have that salve that he picked up, anticipating taking a damage like that, taking a gank like that right to the face, but well, if Batrider heals up, if Invoker heals up, if everyone gets reset, that gank could happen over and over. Moo needs to be very careful about his positioning. That Torrent just going to be quite whiffed there from the Kunkka. Not really able to go through and connect. And well, over here we've got that Dazzle still sitting on level 1, not able to find level 2 just yet, leaving Drow to get a bit of solo experience and maybe picking up that point in Weave, or rather Shadow Wave most likely, to get that heal going. Over here up top we are going to have the Torrent not quite connect again. A little bit of trouble there. There's no Metamorphosis on the Terrorblade, so a little bit less damage coming out. Avalon not quite able to go through and form that unbelievable wall coming out. Schwan, he's going to be spending a lot of time in the lane, so not as much rotating as we would have expected here from the Elder Titan. Just helping the Slardar make sure he's able to go and able to stay in XP range for the entire time. Now mid lane we are going to have the Storm Spirit going up against the Invoker's raw damage, levels up the Forge Spirit, able to go through and get that deny, not giving away anything too scary here. And now Drow Ranger with the Frost Arrows doing a decent amount of damage to the Bat Rider, but there's no follow-up. The Dazzle not able to connect with that Poison Touch, so no slow, no real damage over time coming out just yet. Slardar just being very aggressive here. KP doesn't know how to chill, just going to be going in and looking for more. Over here, I mean, it's pretty passive right now. There's no huge kill attempts. I say that right as 1, 2, 3 is going to go in, and Mango's eaten up, so they have to wrap around. Do they have the follow-up damage here? Schwan, he's just 1 hit short, a little bit of mana short of that stomp. They are going to pop out the reflection here. Terrorblade really wants the illusion, but the first blood will go the way of the Slaughter, who does end up dying. Alright though, he got the first blood, he takes down the core. Schwan may end up dying here, the Torrent not going to connect, but Schwan just going to be ambling around, will pop out that Clarity, anticipating getting out of here, actually gets enough mana to TP home, and they stop the chase. So in the end, that is NewBee coming out completely on top. They drop their Slardar, but totally okay to score first blood, take out the Terrorblade, take himself out from farming, and well, you don't even lose 2 heroes there. Your support Elder Titan gets out alive. Now SJ a little bit, nothing too major here, just a couple of hits, a couple of denies there. Invoker actually doing a fantastic job in terms of a whole lot, so these creeps falling left and right. Over here we are going to see KP diving pretty deep onto that Terrorblade. There will be some follow-up in the trees. You've got the Kunkka walking in, but he's only level 1, hasn't picked up that X just yet. And we got a sleep down here. There is going to be that Zip Zap coming back on through. Chalked out onto the Storm Spirit, so maybe he'll get frozen in place just a little bit. Oh gosh, Dazzle helping out as that Forge Spirit does a number here onto Moo. Moo has to be very careful. Will take a grave to get a sleep onto the Vengeful Spirit. She can't react, she cannot stun, and she will go down. That's 2 dead in the mid lane. Storm Spirit getting out within an inch of his life. Fantastic saves from the Dazzle, has that haste rune, walks on in, will get the save done, so great work coming out. There will be a Sunstrike, not going to connect. The Storm Spirit's feeling A-okay right now. Picking himself up a bottle, and now his boots. He's got all his goodies flying into himself. This is looking pretty good for NewBee. Already starting off strong. Now going back on in, KP sitting back, getting a lot of experience to himself. He's sitting about a level behind the Terrorblade, which, you know, for a Terrorblade lane, that's completely fine. Now Drow is forced to gust back the Bat Rider, who really wants to initiate here. Only level 3, so not able to drop the lasso. In fact, really deep dive from the Bat Rider's son. What are you doing? Does end up getting the kill onto the Drow Ranger, but has to pay with his life. And the kill goes straight to the Drow Ranger. Drow Ranger actually gets the kill first, so able to get that experience going for herself. And she's feeling all right there. Taking over to level 5.5. She's going to pick herself up some nice juicy items, and well, we'll see what she's able to do with that. Now there is going to be Vengeful Spirit swap available, but they really want to go through. They really so KP could be in some trouble, tries to crush. There's going to be a stomp coming out. The Elder Titan buying some time as Schwan just rotating in, saying, get back, this is my Slardar, no touch, and is going to be successful in that. And for right now, you've got the Invoker just sitting back, getting a big chunk of farm. Our big farm leader is going to be the Drow Ranger down here, as the Bat Rider has done his best to apply pressure, to toss out those napalms and fireflies and whatnots, but not really able to get the job done. Drow Ranger still farming very effectively. Now there is going to be the sleep coming out. SJL pops out the Forge Spirit, but it's not going to be enough. The Zip Zap comes in, Storm Spirit gets the Electric Vortex, and another kill onto the Invoker. Invoker getting victimized. The Kunkka rotates in, will land a Torrent onto Moo. but it's not going to be enough to stop any sort of pressure here. In fact, they may continue on to Moonlight. They've got the ward vision coming out. There is going to be the poison touch. They go in with the crush. KP connects, and that's going to be perhaps a secondary kill. They bring in the spirit, and the right clicks are enough. Double kill now for the Storm Spirit. 2 precision aura. Our Ranger definitely helping out her team even from afar, and she's getting some great farm herself, picking up those treads, and now 500 gold on top of that at 6 minutes in. That's pretty solid for herself.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
The mid lane Invoker respawns. He's 0-2-0. Elder Titan, I mean, he's sitting back. He's 1-0-4. Chuan's kill participation has been fantastic thus far around the map. Dazzle, similar story, 0-0-4. Making sure he's always there when needed. The Shallow Graves have been pretty clutch from the ones we've seen. And Invoker's got some big work to do with the overall supports. Kunkka 0-1-0. Trying to go in, trying to get those X-Torrent combos, but it just doesn't seem as potent as the hands of Chuan. It's just vicious. Now down bottom, you got Drow Ranger just doing her best to farm up, making space, and action concentrated mid. We've seen Avalon focus so many resources, pretty much the whole game, onto this mid lane. And now up top, you've got some free farm going on to KP. You've got 1, 2, 3 in the Terrorblade farming up reasonably well, but not as well as he should be. He's sitting at the top of the last hit chart, but it's not really enough here as he is about to go down for a second time. Yeah, one more hit. Storm Spirit now dominating 4-0-1 on him over here. There is going to be a smoke rotation from the going to contest at least some farm for the Radiant. Can they do anything about this? They're looking... Oh, the Dazzle with the Weave, though, gets a nice negative armor onto everyone. Can they follow up with the damage? There is going to be the Poison Touch available. Who's their target, though? There's going to be the Sunstrike, the Torrent, the everything. Dazzle getting dropped, has the Grave if necessary. And not even going to feel that spooked. Goes in, gets the Shallow Wave going through. That's going to be... in a little bit of trouble. Vengeful Spirit trying to do what she can. She's fresh out of mana, can't turn, can't react. The Stomp will come through, will not connect though. Bounty Rune coming out. Dazzle, he's still up, he's still fighting. Meanwhile, Storm Spirit in the mid lane look to go for the solo Invoker pick and will be able to do so. One more hit. Gosh, that Invoker just getting dropped. Titan did pick off the Vengeful Spirit into the Roche pit, so there was no Roshan deny. 9-2 is the kill score. It's looking really good overall for NewBee. Overall net worth is going to be about 4,000 in favor of the Radiant here at 8 minutes in. Individual net worth breakdown. Storm Spirit doing fantastically. Drow Ranger is going to be out net worth in the Terrorblade, which is never a great sign this early on. Now TP's coming in. Avalon, they're not looking to let this tower drop for free, but the fact that there's now 2 TPs to the mid lane means Drow Ranger has a ton of free push on this bottom lane. That Aquila keeping her nice and high, and that's going to be a decent amount of gold sitting in her inventory, able to go for her first big item, whatever it may be. Drow Ranger's not really committed to... It's nice, easy, cheap stats. Gets you some nice range. Could go in for a nice early Manta if she wants to start fighting up. Gonna make her choice sooner rather than later. There's going to be a big rotation in. They're bringing the Terrorblade, who does have the Metamorphosis at the ready. Going to get stomped up there by that Spirit. But just so much space being created by these Radiant heroes. You don't typically think of Elder Titan Slardar as a potent combination, but I mean, they've got great lockdown. They've got great chain stun going for themselves, and as long as they're not getting too controlled by ranged heroes, they're fine. And I mean, Invoker, he could be a problem late game, but he is going to be 0-3-0, retreating to the jungle to get his farm. Not even completed Midas now at 10 minutes. So he's really suffering. Got all of Avalon group split up. They will get victimized here. Drow Ranger, she's sticking to her lane for now. She is going to go for that Dragon Lance. But this Dazzle, as soon as he starts rotating with the Storm Spirit, there's just so much slow, so much damage, so much lockdown coming out from NewBee, and that's only going to get stronger as this game progresses to the mid game. Storm Spirit doing pretty well here. Misses that CS, but that's okay. We won't tell anyone. Is going to go straight in for the tower, getting a decent chunk of space as the only one here to contest is Vengeful Spirit. No one else really go for any sort of counter initiation, so Storm Spirit just cleaning up here, gets lots of space, dragging out this laning phase into his favor. There will be a rotation in from that Drow and the Dazzle. Again, we talked about when they start rotating, it gets real ugly. They are going to walk under an Observer ward. So it looks like maybe they're not able to go through and fully take this down. Not going to win any big fights off the back of this, but securing the tower. Storm Spirit gets that, no denies attempt coming out. And that's going to mean Storm Spirit with almost 2,000 gold in his inventory, going to get a very, very quick Bloodstone. He already has the Soul Ring. He's going to be going in for that Soul Boost. Follow up, Vengeful Spirit dead before she can react. He's running around like a chicken with his head cut off. He just cannot find the space to get away from this. Is able to go through, pops. End up going down. Now Moo in a little bit of trouble there. The meta range tossing out there. Will be Moonlight looking for the follow-up, but on the back lines. The Frost Arrow is going to be whipping Terrorblade down low. He has no mana for the Sunder. Will be picked off. Dazzle getting away within an inch of his life. And now Vengeful Spirit looking for something. Still only level 4. No swap available. And they're just going to clean up here. They will lose the Dazzle on the back lines finally to the Terrorblade. But they get down the Invoker. They get down the Terrorblade. And that's just absolutely huge. The Vengeful Spirit falling. That's going to be about a 1700 XP swing, gold swing. NewBee picking up the better of that. It's going to be now about a 10,000 net worth advantage for them. 12 minutes in the game, and it seems almost insurmountable. How late does this game really have to go for Terrorblade to get some sort of foothold back in this? He's 1-3-1. Just really not having that big old impact you expect him to have. He really hasn't exerted any pressure onto the Radiant Towers whatsoever. But for now, everyone's sitting really poor. I mean, Kunkka, he's level 5, but Vengeful Spirit not even ticking over to there yet. She's level 4. We'll be getting her level 5 off of this wave, but she really needs that swap. She needs those positioning tools, because Avalon, they've got such a position-oriented lineup. The Kunkka, again, Boats, Torrents, X's all revolve around that. Invoker, if he goes for that Deafening Blast, needs to make sure everyone's in the right spot. And, you know, Batrider, obviously, with that Flame Break, with that Lasso, everything's rotated around getting on heroes exactly where they want. But with Venge without her swap, that's a really big key component of their lineup missing. So we'll see when they're able to get that up. And for now, it seems like NewBee, they're effectively online. It usually takes Storm Spirits a long time to get this much farm, but Storm Spirit's feeling completely fine right now. He's picking up whatever he wants to here, and we'll have his Bloodstone fairly shortly, where you're just kind of flapping around every which way. Gonna be going back from delivering goodies, and Storm Spirit with now 3,000 gold, and just sell up his wand to buy out the Soul Booster if you'd like to. See if that's the play. There he goes. That's all his now, and that's gonna be Bloodstone almost complete. Now fake out here, sitting in the trees, waiting until Avalon go in a little bit too deep, and they can absolutely punish this. They do have the Batrider, still no blink on him. At least 1,000 gold off on that, which is really unfortunate. At this point, 13 minutes in, Batrider, even going for the drum build, should just have a little bit more. He has died off once, not really able to have a huge impact in these big fights. So Drow Ranger shows herself. I think Dire know that there's something more afoot. There will be a wraparound coming in. They get the drag back onto the Drow Ranger. Can they keep her healthy? Dazzle doing his best. It's going to be a torrent in the air. Dazzle going to get stunned up. There's a TP out from the Drow Ranger. The Earth Splitter coming in. Oh, golly, Schwan. No mercy here. The boat will fly through. Boat not going to land onto anyone. Terrorblade going to get victimized here. Wrapped around by 4 heroes. Finally picked up by the Elder Titan. They're looking for... Can they break the TP? No. Oh, yes, they can. That's enough damage. The raw burst is enough to take him out, and that's going to be 3 dead on the side of Avalon. Terrorblade being the most important death there. He just cannot afford to keep going down like that. And you just look at the overall gold change. Every single person on NewBee getting something out of that, as they were all rotated in to that bottom lane. So it's just going to be big experience going their way, big gold swings, and it looks like an Aegis as well. Going to be falling into the hands of NewBee, and this is looking fantastic. Avalon, they've got a very steep mountain. It's going to be over 10,000 net worth now. The way back in this is to let your Terrorblade free farm and stop involving him in these big fights and just let him get his big items up. I mean, he just picked up his Dragonlance. He's still sitting on brown boots. He just doesn't have the raw stats needed to take these big fights. So letting him go back, giving him a bit less pressure here in the early game, I feel like is the only way to get back in this. But Avalon, they might just be stuck into a corner, backed up, and forced to fight with everything they've got. The Drow Ranger going to be going in for that Shadow Blade. Sitting right on par with the Storm Spirit at this point. So 15 minutes in. 2,500 gold net worth, rather. Which is pretty solid. Now flying herself in some goodies. Now mid lane, we do have a little bit of initiation here. Aegis going in onto SJL, zipping out of trouble here. There's a swap back, so again, position fresh out of mana. Boat will connect. He's going to burn the Aegis here. The Torrent coming back up. Storm Spirit. Meanwhile, Drow Ranger taking. The fight keeps going on. If they do get the Electric Vortex onto the Bat Rider, and that's going to be a absolute. Want to get Moonlight. Moonlight goes in with that X. Can he? Going to be quite enough. The Torrent will not connect onto Moo. He's able to just walk back to safe. Everyone up in NewBee. They're going to be taking out 2 tier 2 towers if they want to go for this, and that means the last one standing is going to be over here. Terrorblade, I don't think you can really do enough to keep this one standing, man. Alright, so looks like this tower will be spared for now. Drow Ranger still focusing down this creep wave, just not getting paid any attention to. You really can't let a drow like this farm, especially when it's played by How. I mean, just so much work being done here, and it's deceptively early. We're 17 minutes in the game. It feels like we could be 30 with the amount of action we're seeing. And there will be a boat dropped here. A little bit of split fight here as everyone rotating onto the Drow Ranger. Storm Spirit, though, he's going in, laying right in, but laying right back out as he's going to zip-zap out of this. Kaka is going to go through with that Shallow Grave, trying to see what he can do about this, but it looks like it's not going to be enough. The Earth Splitter coming in from downtown. Chuan wants to make an impact here, but it's not going to be enough. They won't be able to get any heroes down on Avalon and NewBee. They lose their Drow. That's a pretty big bounty going the way of the Invoker. Almost 500 gold going straight into his pockets. And the Dazzle, I mean, less of an important kill, but Dazzle still had a lot of kill participation. Almost a 300 gold bounty going through the Terrorblades. That's not going to hurt him any. He's now got himself about 2,700 gold to work with, so his next big item should be coming out pretty soon. Whether he wants to go for a Manta or a BKB, well, the world is his oyster. Pick yourself up something nice and see what you can do with it. You gotta start pushing sooner rather than later, because once you're confined to high ground, it gets. Now over here, there is going to be the Bat Rider punished. He's trying to flap down to the low ground, but just completely controlled up. So he's going to give away a nice free kill to the Dazzle, so definitely making up for that last bounty. Right back up to farming again, has the Shadow Blade. It's going to go in for that. Either Mask of Madness, could be the Dominator build, depending on what Drow wants to do. We've actually seen Mask of Madness Drows make a resurgence. Just going back in, getting that raw attack speed. Movement speed is pretty minimal now, but you know, it's fine now. Storm's godlike, no big deal. He's going in, looking for that double kill. There is going to be the Kunkka, just no chance to react, and that's going to be a kill picked up by the Drow Ranger, so splitting the wealth. Storm and Drow Ranger still going head-to-head. Terrorblade taking up the 3rd spot, but maybe not for long here, as SJL could get victimized once again. Storm diving up top. That's going to be huge. There will be a TP in. Will be completed by the Bat Rider. He's got the lasso, but doesn't want to go in too deep for this. That's going to be 3 dead on the side of Avalon. No one's got buyback. I mean, it's just so... And it's already some high ground siege coming out. Drow Ranger hitting from a mile away with that Dragon Lance, and she's got herself 1,500 gold before the siege is even finished to go back in and pick up her next item. So now that this tower dropped, she's got 2k. KP going and casting that amplified damage onto the Vengeful Spirit, so she really can't initiate for this. The Spirit just getting so much work done. Going in for the stomp will be a double connect. Do they follow this one up? Yeah, Storm Spirit, he just gets the green light, dives right on in. The Earth Splitter sucking DDD back on through. That's going to be the boat just whiffing on in. Kunkka just scrambling around, trying to figure out what the best course of action is. And the Bat Rider once again, Moo. He's still got a decent mana pool left. He wants to jump on this. He's got 19 charges in the Bloodstone, but the full interacts fall, and I think it's time for NewBee to disengage without losing anything here. And that's going to be a pretty big early advantage for them. Again, Drow strats flourish when there's racks down, when they get nice early buildings, and I mean, look at this. Drow Ranger standing outside of tower range, completely fine as the creep wave won't spawn there. Gonna be walking on through and nothing. Backdoor protection don't mean squat when you're a Drow Ranger hitting for almost 250 a pop. Alright, so going back on through, looks like everyone's getting some decent farm going. And the rest of the Radiant are still grouped up. They still want to make something happen here. They've got that smoke on the Dazzle. They're looking... They want to get a nice little pick here. If they go for another successful high ground siege, I think it could just be GG, as Avalon have got such a steep mountain to climb here. Almost 20,000 net worth deficit for that dire team. That's just too much to react to there. The full smoke will go. The full smoke will break as they scout it. Everyone going in. We got smoke on smoke action here, but Storm Spirit zipping in. There will be a nice boat to start things off. There's going to be a shallow grave onto the Slardar. He's trying to make the most of the fraction of life he has left. Swap back. Vengeful Spirit making the space, going for those positioning plays, but she's ultimately getting the first to fall as Draw Ranger able to focus her down. Storm Spirit zipping in, able to get the most out of this. They get a nice silence there from the Gust, and oh, Crush coming back on through. Batrider drops. The Earth Splitter coming out. 1, 2, 3. Back to the well for you, and the GG will be called as Kunkka, the lone survivor. Yeah, he's just going to get completely crushed down here. They're not letting anything survive here. NewBee, no mercy for them. Ultra kill for the Storm Spirit as we move on to game number 2 of this best of 2 series. Avalon, not necessarily the team favored to win, but this was just a very successful showing from NewBee. I mean, one of these teams is TI invited, one of these teams is not, and just looking at performances like that, it's very easy to see the split. We think of Avalon as a fantastic team. They've performed very well in the tournament so far, but when put head to head with perhaps the top team in China, it's just so difficult to look like you're not a 1K stack running around getting handled, because NewBee just, they know exactly what to do. Their experience. We're going into game 2 nonetheless. We're going to see how Avalon can change it up. I'm your caster Annie, aka Android, so sit tight. More DPL coming at you in just a few minutes.